Hi guys, it's me Sarah, and today we're going to be looking at making our own oracle cards. Exciting, because cutting pictures out of magazines is not for serial killers anymore. It's also for people like you. I'm hoping you're not a serial killer. I haven't checked my analytics for a while. I know I've used in the cards so far quite a lot of Soul and Spirit, Spirit and Destiny sort of magazines, and not everyone has the money to get those even secondhand, so just want to show you some stuff that I cut out yesterday exclusively from non-spiritual magazines. So here we've got these are all from like free Tesco's magazines, mostly like wildlife stuff. Got some nice like fern backing here, some flowers, a candle, some smoky purpleness. This was from, I think, a car advert. It's just like a nice sort of black and white gradient. And then these are from SFX and FHM, which are just two magazines that I just happened to have because they got bought for my brother while he was in hospital, but he hasn't read them in like months, so I've taken them. Got some nice like typewriter background. This was quite cool. It's got like little crosses on it. I might like take this part up here with this nice pattern, so that's quite cool. Then we've got some like spooky forest from the background of one article. This red skull, which is actually like cover art from something, I think a novel, and I think I've got that twice because there was a bigger advert. Some stars. This is about like Dracula, but it has some sort of cool dragon stuff on it. Some trees background, I might use that. Bigger version of the skull there. These are from like family history and what was the other one? Kind of home decor magazines. You can buy these from the library when they're removed from circulation. They're about 10p each. You often find them in charity shops. So a nice compass there. I thought that might be good for a card. This, which kind of looked witchy and magical, which I'm going to use later. We've got a nice picture of an angel here. Not really my thing, but I might incorporate it. Kind of close-up image of a ring. I just kind of liked the purple background and then the look of the gemstones, so I might use a small chunk of that. This is National Trust magazine cover. Lots of nice colours. National Trust and English Heritage magazines, again, like you get those if you're a member, so I've just kind of cribbed these from people who get them. It's basically just a lot of like coastal and interesting imagery, plants, globe, again a nice sort of black background, a lot of garden stuff. I thought this was quite cool. I might actually put that text on a card, just because that's quite inspirational. That's like the top of a stone at Stonehenge. Again, I just like the colours. That's from a history magazine thing about Dracula. Interesting like floral background. I might use that. Advert for plants. You know, so you can find these things like all over the place, lots of different magazines, even if you're just picking up like the free Tesco one at the supermarket, and just sort of taking pages out of that, you know, you're going to end up with a couple of decent pictures to use in oracle cards. And that's just sort of what I wanted to share with you. Whoop, we've lost some. Even if it's just like from adverts and things, that you can make oracle cards out of things that don't cost a lot of money at all, because they're just like free magazine clippings. So don't let the fact that I'm using quite a lot of like Spirit and Destinies put you off trying this, because it has been like a very rewarding craft project. And let's look at the finished articles. So I'm going to go like last to first. So this is Believe that the World is on Your Side, with this picture, which I thought felt nicely hopeful. I think it was from an advert, and the backs. The first thing that I learned while making these was that it was easier to just put the paint on the cards and then marble it with a brush, as opposed to try and stamp it in the paint. That didn't produce the effect that I wanted, so definitely go with that technique when I decide to make some more of these. I really love this picture. It's from an article about Dracula. It says, "You must love in such a way that the person you love feels free." So some of these are just things that I think are good advice, and things that I think would just sort of prompt the right action. So here we have work smarter, not harder, and some candles and some letters. The second thing that I learned while making these, and you can kind of see it on this one, is that the Mod Podge made the magazines go a little bit wrinkly. I'd stuck them all firmly down with Pritt Stick and let that dry before I Mod Podged, but it did make it go a little bit wrinkly, so I would probably seal them with something that wasn't Mod Podge in the future. And this one, which is challenge your negative beliefs. Had to use those skulls. They were just so cool. I think they're from the cover art of a Warhammer horror novel. I just liked them. I went for a kind of a dark imagery on all of these. This is Declutter. Again, you can see the kind of slight wrinkling there. It was worse when the magazine paper that I was using was thinner. So again, some of these are just advice. Like you pull a card and it can tell you it's time for a declutter. There we go. And this one, just to give some advice and hope in a situation, it says, "And with the rising and setting of the sun, nature reminds us all the brighter days will come." Here we have some pumpkins. I had to cut this image in half and then kind of try and cover this join and fill in a gap there with some fire. But I think it came out really nice. I really love the like orange colour. It says, "What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create." So when I was making these, I was literally just thinking of things that would answer questions that I normally ask. Usually it's things about to do with like writing, to do with things that I'm working on creatively. So I thought these would be helpful. This says, we have to meet the wish halfway to help it manifest in this human reality. Everything with this kind of font on it was taken from like a Soul and Spirit magazine. I think most of my sort of sayings came from there. It's a really nice picture from Witches magazine. That one actually worked really well because their paper is thick paper and not just like magazine style. This is to show that a solution requested would involve magic. So it tells you when you would need to sort of pull out the spell book and get working on that. And I've chosen some images to represent like what my magic usually looks like. Lots of herbs and candles and jars. So I like that. And then we have some more good advice. Let it go. Cast it into the fire. Let it be taken away. I really love fire imagery. Absolutely love a bonfire. Anything that involves setting stuff on fire is my cup of tea, and I really loved this picture. And here we have another fiery one. This is your monthly period, a project, a relationship. Everything begins, grows, and ends to make way for something new. Some more candles from, I think, the same picture that these came from. And some of those nice fire sparks in the background. This one's kind of funny. Basically, I put one in to indicate that there is a hidden agenda working against you, or someone you can't trust. This sort of black smoke reminded me of like muddying waters, but also of like demons and things from like Charmed Supernatural. So it's, you know, a hidden agent. And then I added, there are people who will shit on you in a second, just to hammer that point home. I thought that one was kind of funny. I like this one because it's so simple. It just says, just keep writing. Sometimes that's just all the advice that I need. So I've made a card just for that. Another picture from Witches magazine there, which is really nice. I think they worked better when I had like a big picture in the background as opposed to making it out of a collection of small images. But I like the mix that I got. This one is just tarot in general. I wanted to put a card in to suggest a tarot reading because I reach for the oracle cards first in most cases. But obviously then I can be referred to the boss, if you will, and whack out the old tarot deck. And I actually have this tarot deck as well, so that's quite nice. This one, again, quite a simple one. Just sleep. Sometimes a lot of problems look worse before you've had a good night's sleep, so I thought that was good advice to include. It's just get some rest and think about it later. This is another kind of vaguely humorous one. I liked this like colourful background, and this I think was a candle, like a picture with the candle jar. I just cut that bit out. Darling, just fucking own it. So a card that says just be confident and keep going the way you're going and everything will be okay. The last couple of ones coming out now. This was the first one I made. There's a lot of blank space on it, which I don't know that I like, but I do like all the crystal balls. It says my intuition is pulling me away and telling me to look elsewhere. So a good bit of advice there. Here's another one. You can probably hear a slight peeling sound. I still need to seal the acrylic paint on the back, so they are slightly sticking together, but I will go and seal those when I have a minute. It says if you're facing in the right direction, all you need to do is keep walking. So another one that says you were on the right path, keep going. There's a real mix in here of like you need to do things differently, you need to change things, or you just need to keep going, which I think is a good kind of binary advice. And then we have this one. Positive things are waiting around the corner for me. I made this and didn't like it. It had just this like blank sky at the top, and then this. I think I stuck something around the wrong way because this was originally meant to be like further up. But then, because this was in kind of like a bubble, I cut the edges off and they look like clouds. And I just stuck those on, and now I really like it. It's kind of come around for me. So that's that. And then this last one, a nice indulgent bath and a rose. It says treat yourself, which again, like a kind of a self-care prompt, like you need to take care of yourself. So these are the cards that I've made. The Mod Podge that I used on them was mixed with a few drops of essential oils, which I think I showed in the opening video. I really like using marigold oil in divination because marigolds are good for truth, and I think that's basically what we want from our decks, really, isn't it? Just the truth and good advice. So that's what I used. And yeah, this was a fun project. It just ended up being a lot more time consuming than I thought it would be. What with all the painting and cutting out of things and letting it dry and Mod Podging, and it did take a while, but I'm really pleased with this end result. And I think I will be maybe adding more to this collection in the future. But in the meantime, if you decide to make some of your own oracle cards, or if you have any tips or tricks, do drop a comment or tag me on Instagram and some pictures at Witchfix Podcast, because I'd really like to see what you're getting up to. And in the meantime, I'll see you in the next one.